I don't wanna know if you're only here for a moment, seeing all I have, loving what I got. I just hope you like it. It's always good to know that you've been by to send a little smile. Even if I'm gone, you know it won't be long. I'll see the love and send it on. Even though you may be far away, I still know how you're doing. 'Cause you share all the laughter, joy, and pain. So I can, oh, send a little love on through, send a little love on, let you know I'm thinking about you, let you know, oh, send a little love on through, send a little love on, let you know I'm here for you, let you know, oh. Been a little while since I read the writing on your wall. I'm thinking that it's time I take a look around, and I know I like it. Even though we may be far away, I still know how you're doing. 'Cause you share all the laughter, joy, and pain. So I can, oh, send a little laugh on through, send a little laugh on, let you know I'm thinking about you, let you know, oh, send a little laugh on through, send a little laugh on, let you know I'm here for you, let you know, oh. I may not know all the words to say, but I can be here for you. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, as long as we stay true. Send a little love on through, send a little love on, let you know I'm thinking about you, let you know, oh. Send a little love on through, send a little love on, let you know I'm here for you, let you know, oh.
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this transformative, awakening, chaotic, fast moving planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live here on Fridays on the Intuitive Prospector page. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. I hope you had a wonderful week. I hope you're gearing up for a relaxing, rejuvenating, reviving weekend, wherever you may be. And if you want to join us, we're here every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in Seattle, Washington. I am your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. If you want to learn more about who I am, what I do, the soul adventures of life, the meditations, the writings, the workshops, the podcast, you can all go to right here at marclainhart.com and learn more about my journey and what it is that I do. So we've got a few of you joining me this morning. Again, we're going to be talking about the diamonds of being alone. It's my latest article that's getting ready to come out. I'm the featured blogger this month for Best American Psychics. So I've been working on a few articles. I try to write at least an article, if not two, a month, either for Best American Psychics or West Side Seattle, local publication here, or working on my next book. You can see I've got my book propped up. This is called Between World Reflections, and it's based on true accounts of psychic experiences that I've had over the course of my life and journey here, and just just writing and helping and inspiring. And this morning I woke up and was really um, inspired because I'd received a testimonial from a reading that I had just done last week or the week before, I can't remember. And so it was nice to wake up and read somebody's response to the work that you do, to help her with connection to a loved one that she had lost and some questions that she had, and to just help heal, to help her move into that healing format, to know that we're not ever alone, that our spirit companions, our family, our friends, our fur babies are always ever just a thought away. Again, between worlds, reflections, a world within a world. And her father was able to come through and help with some confirmations and some healing. And I'm always honored and humbled to be a part of such a authentic, historical, natural process of mediumship. The death and dying, I know everybody has different perspectives, and that's part of life, right? But what does happen after death? And I've talked about this. I talked about it on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, that death is not extinction, death is extension. And we come here to the school of life, I guess, if you want to call it that, and we learn our different lessons, our life lessons, our growing pains, and it helps us to transform. And then once we get up to that moment where we've learned as much as we can, and our time has run out, and I always remind you that time is our greatest commodity, then we move on through the portal of death. But death is not the end, and either I'm really good guesser at what I do, or there's something to this scientifically, through the power of the brain, through the power of communications, through the power of clairvoyance, that something takes place, that these people can come back and communicate, give me such information, and give me evidence, and give me stories and memories. Because I'll just be sitting here during a reading, and all of a sudden things will start dropping in. And at first it was hard for me to come to terms with that, because my own trauma and tragedy, the TNT that I always talk about at the age of 27, when my brothers and my father-in-law all passed tragically from different events, it rewired me somehow. Neuroplasticity is the rewiring of the brain through trauma. Could be through a near-death experience. It could be through great loss and grief that I had experienced. And somehow that rewired my brain to be almost like a signal open to receive information. Now, if I'm being honest and if I'm being human, I do not get everything 100% correct. There's never anything that's 100% ever correct. Even science, we've talked about in past episodes, science is not 100% correct. As far as it's proven by the scientific method or mathematics, mathematical equation, the mathematical world has only proved about 4% of the scientific community. So that means there's 96% that we just don't still understand, or we have not yet evolved to grow into that knowledge, into that wisdom, and into that enlightenment. And we will. It is the Roaring 20s. And I did say, if you follow me, you follow my work, you follow my shows, you follow my podcast, I've been saying for years now that what is happening now, I said back in 2018, 2019, that our Roaring 20s would become quite transformational in all aspects, from government to politics to space travel to extraterrestrials to science to medicine to technology. There's even rumblings right now that the James Webb, the scientific community, is not sure how to respond, but they're saying that the James Webb telescope has discovered a structure or lights and also molecules that are the same molecules that build life on a planet. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's on one of my pages, either Soul Adventures or Spiritual Beings Having Human Experiences. Those are the two Facebook groups that I run, if you want to join those. But I call it the drip, drip, drip. I've been saying this since 2018. My own personal experiences with extra dimensional beings in the Coast Guard, the podcast that I've done, and it's just this drip, drip, drip. To at one point, we're going to get to the point where the government's never going to tell us. Just so we're clear, y'all. Our government breaks our constitution with transparency every single day by not giving full disclosure, and it won't be the media, because the medias are owned by large corporations, and they have a narrative to tell. So it's going to come through crowdsourcing. It's going to come through people that have a lot of these, and you can't take that signal down, whether it's through TikTok or whether it's through YouTube or through live feeds. It'll be done through crowdsourcing. But I call it the drip, drip, drip. It's one of the oldest conspiracies going in mankind. And we've been talking about full disclosure since Roswell in 41, so we're talking over 75 years now. But there is a lot of rumblings, there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of uncertainties going on with NASA right now and with the James Webb Telescope, which they anticipated would do and would unlock and tell us that we're not alone in the universe, which is pretty arrogant to think that we would be. But they're not sure how society responds, right? So last year, if you followed my work, I talked about the paper that was released, the hearings that were taking place with the Intelligence Committee and the Senate. Follow the budgets, follow the monies with Space Force, the UAP program. But one of the things that they did is NASA last year pulled 24 or 25 theologians together to talk about what happens if we do discuss full disclosure of little green men or intelligence that's far surpassed us. How does that respond in the public sector? How does that respond with people that are religious? Because it doesn't fit into their narrative of scripture, whether it's the Quran or the Holy Bible, right? There's no mentions, but there is if you know where to look, right? And it's just interesting. And I haven't seen any results from that conference. I haven't seen any papers produced, any outcomes, any findings, any solutions. So there's a lot of uncertainty with what we're going through in our Roaring 20s. And maybe, you found me today on the Intuitive Prospector page, streaming through Facebook. I'm also now streaming live over, not live, but my past shows are streaming at this same time over on my YouTube channel. So if you want to get on my YouTube channel, I'm about to hit 500 subscribers. So join me, because once you get a certain amount of subscribers, you're allowed to do more things. 500 is not a lot, but I do appreciate every single follow, and I appreciate every person that follows and joins me in this prospecting of life and to understand our journey here and what we're going through each and every day. And there is a lot of uncertainty going on right now. There's a lot of not sure where the world's going. World War III, Civil War. We already have 2 wars going on right now with Israel and the Gaza Strip and Hamas. We've got the war with Ukraine and Russia, and there's now, I follow a lot of special ops stuff from my days in the military and Coast Guard, so I get a lot of different alerts, and there's a lot of things going on with cyber warfare. There's a lot of things going on with Taiwan and China, North Korea. There's just a lot of uncertainties, but your focus determines your reality. So take your focus off that, because the world is going to be the world. The world has always been at odds with each other, fighting, war, killing, murder. And it's like, if you want to move past that, then you've found the community, because that's what this is. That's what Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live is all about. It's about inspiration, about encouragement, about motivation, knowing that not being, I do say ignorance is bliss, but not being ignorant or blinded to what's going on in the reality of our world, because that impacts us as beings as well. We're spiritual, energetic beings that have chosen to incarnate into this physical form to experience everything from loss, life, love, the different wants of the body, the different thoughts of the mind, right? And that's why we're here, is because the only way we're going to know it is to live it, to learn it. And there's a lot of stuff that's really good in the world, but there's a lot of stuff that's really bad in the world. And it's about you choose what you want to take in and not take in, right? It's choice, it's free will, right? And so every Friday I come on here to really promote positivity through the social media platforms, because as you may have seen this week, all the CEOs of the tech companies that run these social media platforms were being grilled for the abuse and the things that they, the money they're making off people, and the negative things and the impacts on children and people that body image and racism and politics, and trying to hold them accountable. And that's just part of our growing through our technology. Just like the internet hasn't been around yet for even 30 plus years. It hasn't. Late 1997, I think, is when it got introduced to the public. I've been around since the 1980s, but not released to the public. And we've had to, work through our social media. We've had to work through our internet growth, right? And so we're growing through our technology so we can evolve, and hopefully not implode and go backwards. And so on Fridays, I come up here to talk about the metaphysical aspects: mediumship, meditation, spirituality, inspiration, healing, transformation, psychic, creativity, all of the fun things. And I really try to use my social media platforms for positivity, whether it's here on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, my podcast on Inspired Living Radio, which is now rated as a top inspirational podcast. We're in the top. There's 80, and we're in the top. I think we're 37 or 36, it just depends. But it's making a difference in our world. It's sending that positivity, that message, that inspiration out. And I've learned through this journey the last few years that I know that not everybody is going to agree with what I say, and you're entitled to your perspective. You're entitled to your opinion, of course, but you're not entitled to your facts, because there's only one set of facts. And what we're seeing is, with our evolution through technology, we're seeing a split where people are starting to create their own facts based on their own narratives, right? And that's dangerous for moving ahead. And for those of you who have followed my work, I've long talked about the crumbling of institutions within the United States, Civil War, dividing states, leaving the Union, and I still see that happening. And there's nothing I can do about that, right? So what I can do is I can focus on the things that help other people, things that inspire other people, things that bring healing. And to wake up this morning and have a testimonial sitting in my inbox was very heartwarming to me, because there are times it's like, am I making a difference with people? Am I helping people? And I do this because of the suffering and the pain that I've experienced. I'm reading a great book right now, and I love this gentleman, The Art of Living by Thich Nhat Hanh. He was a Buddhist monk out of Vietnam, and he talked about, we read this at my group on Wednesday, is who is suffering. When our despair is overwhelming, we need to be able to let go of the idea that our suffering is our own, that this body is ourself, and that this body belongs to us. The insight of interbeing and no self will help. Not having a separate self doesn't mean we don't suffer. When conditions for suffering come together, suffering, whether sitting, or I'm sorry, suffering come together, suffering arises, we feel it, we experience it. And when conditions are no longer sufficient, suffering ceases. The good news is that suffering is impermanent. There doesn't need to be a separate self entity who suffers. In fact, when our suffering is very great, we can be sure that it is not ours alone. It may be transmitted to us by our parents, our grandparents, or even our great grandparents. They may never have had a chance to learn how to transform their pain and suffering. And so this suffering has been passed down for generations. I know it's been passed down in my family. Perhaps you should look at your generations and your learned behaviors, and things that you were taught. I was taught a religion that I was raised in a religion that I don't agree with, that I don't follow, that I don't subscribe to. And that's okay. That's free will and choice, right? That's based on education and your own experiences and your soul adventures. You may be the first in your family to have encountered teachings and practices that help you recognize and take care of this suffering. Quote, when we are able to transform our suffering, we do so not only for ourselves, but also for our ancestors and our descendants. And, that's a lot of taking the suffering and applying that and coming out on the other side with something of the butterfly effect, right? The caterpillar completely deliquefies in the cocoon, only to reemerge with a complete new body, new wings, new perspective, new ideas. And so that's what we try to do here on Fridays on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live. We used to be on Mondays, Metaphysical Vocal Mondays, to help you set the week. I had to make a change based on my schedule, and I'm kind of happy now that I've chose Fridays at 10 a.m. to be here with y'all on these platforms of positivity. So again, I'm going to give you some shout outs. I do want to let you know that today is the first of, it's technically the 2nd of February, but I know that, what's his name? Puxatilli Phil. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. He did not see his shadow, so we know that we have an early spring coming. Yay, I love the spring. I love how the cycles repeat itself. And also, it's the first Friday of the month. So if you're one of my Patreon prospectors, I'll head over to Facebook here and put the link in for y'all. But we're going to be live at, I gotta look at my meetings here real quick. So 11:30 to 12:30 today. The first Fridays of every month is where I have my Q&A community for my Patreon prospectors and my subscribers for my Diamonds Hub. So I will put that link into the Facebook feed if you want to participate. It's an hour dedicated to asking me questions, getting a reading. For my subscribers, they have different tiers, and it's really for those subscribing members, those that subscribe to the Diamonds Hub here on Facebook, and those that are subscribers paid on the Patreon. And the page has already grown. I already have 10 Patreon prospectors that have joined me. Now the Q&A is for those that are paid. Sorry for those that are just free members that have joined for free. That you wouldn't be able to get access into the room unless you're a membership, paid membership with the Patreon. So, and I'll put that that link in the field. There's 2 sessions offered on Fridays, the first Friday of each month. Again, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It'll be via Zoom, and then again at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that gives people for, check your local time zones. But it's about just monthly prospecting and discovering that diamond within and the many gems that are all around us in this life. So again, the morning Zoom session will be at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Q&A community for my Patreon prospectors and Diamond Hub subscribers, and then again at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I hope that you will join us, and I will put that link. Let me grab it here. But the best way to do is just to get started. 2 ways you can do this. Go to marclainhart.com right here and look for the Patreon. Go to the subscribe section, subscriptions and stores, and you can subscribe through Patreon there. You can also get on my YouTube channel, Soul Adventures, and then you can also join the Diamonds Hub. So there are links that'll take you to the Diamonds Hub. Is $4.99 a month to be on the Facebook Diamonds Hub, where you get just more interactions with me. And then for the Patreon, it just depends on what membership, from $2.22 to $11.11 each and every month, and they all have different things. But today is that first Friday, so I hope that you'll join me. But again, if you want to get started, go to right here to marclainhart.com, peruse the site, get to the subscription page, and become a Patreon prospector or a Diamonds Hub subscriber. And I look forward to working with you later on this afternoon and later on this morning. So let me give some shout outs to people. Bear with me here. Let me get over to the Facebook page. Let's see here. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. I've got my Yoda mug this morning. All right, just pulling up the page here. Just give me 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Wait, there's a lot of pages here. Okay. So again, if you want to share this page out, please do so. Would love to have you get a star sender badge, subscriber badge. That's what I'll be looking for when I start to interact with you all here in just a second. And then I'll also get a Zoom link if you want to come and ask a question. You can ask me a question. Again, if you're a subscriber or you have a badge, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. All right. So let me get in. So good morning. So let's see who we got with us this morning. So this morning we have, good morning to Jane. Good morning to my team, my administrators, my moderators that keep the comments clean. Again, we don't ask that you come in here and try to get a reading. If you get somebody asking you to go to their page, please report them. Let us know. It's like a spam call coming in, right? And I get a lot. Come over to my page for a more accurate reading. That's just unprofessional. It's unethical. Don't do it. You're spam. So don't be a troll. Don't be a clickbaiter. Don't be a bot. We will report you, and my moderators are paying attention to the comments because we want to try to keep this platform, this community positive, without all the bullshit, without all of the, oh, come over here, come over there. No, that's not what this is about. So if you have a question you want to ask me and you have a badge next to your name, that's what I'm looking for. If you're one of my subscribers or you're a star sender to help buy coffee each and every month, that's what I'm looking for. So good morning to Jane, who's one of my moderators. Good morning to Tara. Good morning to Marari Flores. Good morning, Colleen. Good to see you. Laura Everall Benor. Hi, no earbuds at dentist. Catch you next time. Good day. Well, have fun at the dentist. Lori, good morning to you. Kara, good morning to you. Happy Friday as well. Bernadette, hello. Samantha Fox, hello to you. Good morning to my mom who's watching. Diana Dupree Johansson, good morning. Lori says, been a year since I lost my beloved daughter, Stephanie. Lori, I'm so sorry. But you haven't lost her. You've lost the physical aspects, but what I teach on, the signs, the symbols, the synergy, the synchronicities. Einstein always referred to coincidences and synchronicities of God's way of remaining anonymous. I no longer subscribe to death being the end. Death is for her journey. Her time here ended, but her journey continues. Her mannerisms, her love, her memories, her consciousness, her energy by the laws of physics has to go on. So the question becomes, where does her energy go on to? A lot of people want to say up or down, but we can't go up or down on a round planet. It is literally impossible. If you go up and leave the planet Earth, you're going to go up for eternity, right? Because the galaxy's that big. So what I would say for you, Lori, is start looking for her. Ask, believe, receive, perceive. And through that process, take those deep breaths, those divine breaths. So I go, what I teach my students is ask, okay, what's your daughter's name? Her name is Stephanie. She's been gone a year. Stephanie, I'm asking, please send me a sign, a symbol, a synergy, which is the energy of your heart and her energy that blend together, that synergy, if you will. So ask, believe. You got to have a little bit of belief in this, y'all. If you don't have any belief, it is hard to see the magic of the spirit world. And I mean magic, not with pulling a bunny out of a hat. I'm talking magic with a CK, right? The magic of metaphysics. And so for you, Lori, and I understand the loss. I can empathize at a very deep level because I have lost a lot of members of my family, fur babies, friends, all different aspects. But I don't use the word lost anymore. I can say I've lost them, but I really haven't lost them. If anything, I found them because I know where to look for them. I know to pay attention to the pattern, and I know to ask, believe, taking a divine breath, receive information, and perceive that information that's received based on my accounts. And if you do that, I promise you, she will find a way to make your mind trigger to her. It could be a lookalike, it could be a picture, it could be a song, it could be a poem, it could be a movie, it could be finding something a year after she's left the physical incarnate and have discarnated back to the spiritual soul adventure of what life is. So I empathize and honor your grief. It's important to honor your grief and how you feel because grief never leaves y'all. Grief becomes a part of who we are, and we grow around that grief and we take it with us. Now, it doesn't have to be this big, heavy luggage. How do I know? Because I carried a very heavy bag of survivor's guilt for almost 20 years after both my brothers passed. And I had to learn through counseling and hypnotherapy and biofeedback and breath work, soma breath work, and transformations and healing to let that go, that was not my responsibility. So I can empathize and connect at much deeper levels than many people. And it's a big part of the work I do today and the shows I run, the website I run, the podcasts that I do. So I empathize with you, Lori, but you haven't lost her. She's actually closer to you now than she's ever been. So challenge it. Challenge the spirit world, y'all. Challenge and ask, believe, receive, perceive, and see what comes. It won't be in a big booming voice because they don't have a vocal cord anymore. There's no physical vocal cord, which is communications, is a vibration off the vocal cord. That doesn't exist. So how do they communicate with us? Here, and all the way down here. This is called clairvoyance, clairsentience, or cognizance, the clairs of who we are. And it's just a further example that this journey is only temporary. Time is the great illusion. I just posted, in fact, the video that's over on YouTube is I'm talking about time as a flat circle. If you don't know what that means, go over to my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. I'm about to hit 500. Help me get to 500, please. But you'll see what I'm talking about. What do you mean time is a flat circle? And that's over on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. So good morning to Maureen. Good morning to Nancy. Good morning to Chrissy. Emily, good morning. Caroline, good morning. I'm doing well. Given everything that's going on. Michelle, good morning to you. Meg Kearns, good morning to you. Karen, good morning to you. So a lot of people tuning in this Friday. Happy to see you. If you have some questions, you can ask me. Let me get the Zoom. Bear with me here. Again, I'm looking for badges. So you'll have a badge next to your name. That means that you're following the work and that you are either a subscriber or a star sender. If you come into the Zoom room, try to keep your questions concise and to the point because I want to try to get to some people. And then again, if you want to join my Patreon or become a Diamonds Hub subscriber, I'll be doing this every first Friday of the month is a Q&A community at 11:30 a.m. today, and then again this afternoon at 3 p.m. if you want to join me. Get a reading, could be numerology, could be a meditation, could be a healing, could be just Q&A. It's literally like a box of chocolates. You don't ever know what you're going to get. So let's go over to Facebook real quick. Facebook. And then I'm going to talk about the diamonds of being alone. It's my new article that's coming out that's getting ready to get published here. I just finished it. And let's go over to the to the Prospector page. So look for my little emoji. I'll put an emoji for the Zoom link. Sorry, Facebook's being a little slow. I apologize. So let's do control. The passcode is always based on the year. So the passcode with any of my Zoom invites are 2024 because we're in the year 2024, right? So let's look for my little emoji. Fun emoji. Do that one. Okay. So Zoom link is out there. If the moderators want to grab that, perfect. Thank you for doing that. Just has me crossing my heart like this. And again, if you come in the Zoom room and want to ask me a question, perfectly fine. Just ask that if you have headphones in, put headphones in or turn the volume down so we don't get feedback in the room. And I'm looking for people. If you come in the waiting room, I'm looking for badges over on Facebook that you're a subscriber or a follower. So for example, Tara Bryan is one of my subscribers because I can tell by the badge next to her name. If you don't have your badge, like my mom has a badge that shows a heart. So you can click on your badge to see what kind it is. And so like my mom's a top fan. So what we're doing is we're using social media, the algorithms and the information to correspond with people on Fridays. That's really what we're doing. So, okay, so let me get back to, let's see here. My mom's saying good morning, Mark and everyone. Good morning, Mom. Okay. Shoot. All right. So if you want to come in and ask a question, fine. You can ask a question here. I'll catch up to it here in a sec. But what I wanted to do is also you'll get the link for Patreon if you're over on the Patreon page or on my subscribers page. Those links will be presented when I'm done here. But the article that I wrote is called "The Diamonds of Being Alone." And being alone is often misunderstood and stigmatized in our society. We hear a lot of studies right now about people that are very lonely, very alone, relationships that have ended because of the pandemic and the transformation of consciousness, which I think history will look back and reflect as a new renaissance of our time, of great transformation and evolution. And there's going to be some shit we're going to have to go through, right? But as Buddha reminds us, we need to let that shit go, right? But being alone is often misunderstood and stigmatized in our society. Many people associate being alone with loneliness and isolation, but it is essential to recognize that being alone can be a valuable and enriching experience. This article will explore the art of being alone, its benefits, and how to cultivate a healthy relationship with solitude. So number one, embracing the solitude, the first diamond. Being alone allows us to reconnect with ourselves and explore our thoughts and emotions. It will enable us to step away from the distractions and noise of the world and focus on our own needs and desires. Embracing solitude can lead to self-discovery, personal growth, and deeper understanding of ourselves. I always remind my students, my clients, take the time to disconnect so you can make the time to reconnect. That's very, very important. And a lot of artists, a lot of writers, a lot of authors take solitude and they discover these stories or compose music or create new ideas. There was a gentleman, who was it? It was during the Black Plague. It might have been Pythagoras that created more mathematics, the Pythagorean theorem, sacred geometry. But it was during the isolation of the pandemic, the Black Plague that killed 25% of the world's population, that some of the greatest ideas were born. So there's something to the solitude, right? Reflection and self-discovery can happen when you embrace the diamonds of being alone. And what I mean by that is we have the space and time to reflect on our lives, our goals, and our values when we are alone. This introspection can lead us to self-discovery and a better understanding of who we are and allowing us to identify our strengths and our weaknesses and make choices and decisions that align with our authentic selves. I always talk about the creative expressive energy in numerology, which is the number 3, the power of 3, and it's my third diamond, is being alone can also foster creativity and innovation. It provides the freedom to explore new ideas, engage in artistic pursuits, and experiment with different forms of self-expression. Many great artists, writers, and thinkers have credited their periods of solitude as crucial to their creative process. The fourth diamond, number 4, independence and self-reliance on the art of being alone and the diamonds of being alone. Spending time alone can help develop a sense of independence and self-reliance. When alone, we learn to rely on ourselves for companionship, entertainment, and problem solving. This can lead to increased self-confidence and a greater sense of empowerment. Number 5, mindfulness and inner peace in the art of being alone, the diamonds of being alone, if you will. Being alone in our being alone in our fast-paced and constantly connected world allows us to slow down and cultivate mindfulness. It provides an opportunity to be fully present in the moment, to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, and to find inner peace and tranquility. Mindfulness practice has been shown to reduce stress, enhance well-being, and improve our overall mental health. And we have a lot of mental health going on in our world today, don't we? I know that I've journaled and journeyed with mental health, grief, loss, depression, PTSD, anxiety. Like I said, I've done a lot of work to understand these different roles and things that I've gone through from my early childhood all the way up until the age of 27 when my brothers passed, and even moving forward with things that have taken place. But again, it's not happening to me as a victim. It's happening for me, for growth, for evolution, for transformation, for healing, for forgiveness. So good morning, Judy. Good to see you. So got a few of you tuning in. Again, the Zoom link's out there if you have a question. We're talking about the diamonds of being alone, the art of being alone, and the benefits that can come from being alone. This is my latest article. It will be blasted out in my newsletter. If you want to get on my newsletter, Soul Adventures, it will be also published through Best American Psychics as the featured blog this month. So there's this article, and then I have another article coming out. Have some ideas. Sometimes, again, I don't know what I'm going to write until I write it, right? And I just sit down and move into that energy, move into that silence, move into that isolation, and all of a sudden ideas percolate. So there's a couple articles that I've already written back in December. That if you want to check those out, those are over on my website. The one is called The Happiness Journey of Joy and Being Present. Another article that I did on the pineal gland and the consciousness of who we are. So if you want to check those out, those are over on my website as well. So continuing with our discussion on the diamonds of being alone. Number 6 is building meaningful connections. Being comfortable with being alone can enhance our ability to form meaningful connections with others. When secure in our own company, we are less likely to seek validation and fulfillment from external sources. So very true, especially in social media, especially with how many likes and followers and all that stuff that people are, evolving, because we never used to have that, right? We used to, how many of you can remember back in the day? I'm a little older, a little bit more seasoned, but you can remember all your phone numbers. How many of you can remember all your phone numbers now? No, I don't. I can remember one of my phone numbers, 484-3002, when I was living on Wabash. But that is, that's just an example of the technology has transformed our mind, our mindfulness, and how we even connect, right? How many of you actually talk on the phone like this, right? A lot of times it's through the text format or through FaceTime or through voice activation, which imagine in the next 10 years with AI and robotics and the increased advancement of technologies, quantum computing is now a thing. It is real. It is manifested. IBM has created the first quantum computer. So things are going to be processing at such fast speeds that our form of communications will continue to change. I imagine holograms, brain implants, brain syncs, more of this. This is more higher consciousness communications up in here than this ever has been. This is actually considered quite primitive. But being alone can build these meaningful connections, and it can help us with, when secure in our own company, we are less likely to seek those validations and fulfillment from external sources. This allows us to enter into relationships from a place of authenticity and independence and foster deeper connections and healthier dynamics. So get off the social media platforms for a while too. Move into some solitude, move into some isolation, move into, building the diamonds of being alone, because there's a lot that can come from that and very healthy. So let's see, let me give you some more shout outs. Again, if you have a question, go ahead and put that in the comment section. Good morning, Shannon. Good to see you. Again, the Zoom link is out there. And again, the Zoom link, if you're on the Patreon's page or the Diamonds Hub subscribers, those links will be published. The only way you'll have access is to join. And again, if you're on my Patreon page, if you're a free member, I apologize, but this is only for subscribing members only. First Friday of every month. at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then again at 3 p.m. Eastern, or 3 p.m. Pacific, so that'd be 6 p.m. Eastern, for Q&A community, to get a reading, to have some insight with me each and every month. So in conclusion, being alone is not something to be feared or avoided, but rather an art to embrace and to cultivate. It provides us with an opportunity for self-discovery, creativity, independence, and mindfulness. By learning to appreciate and enjoy our own company, we can build a stronger sense of self, foster personal growth, and cultivate meaningful connections with others. So let us not shy away from solitude, but instead embrace it as a valuable and enriching experience. And I always like to say, quote, a new day, a new opportunity, a day we have not seen before to use our intuition to prospect this wonderful world around us. So that's my latest article, The Art of Being Alone, or The Diamonds of Being Alone. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but it'll be coming out here probably today or tomorrow. So I look forward to getting that out and connecting with all of you through the process of writing. So Zoom room is now open. If you want to come in and ask a question, moderators, if you want to, Jane or Colleen, if you want to grab that link, if anybody's asking for it, let me know. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just move into a little bit of healing real quick, and move into just a quick meditation. So let me get over to that. And hi, Samantha. Good to see you. All right. So everybody just take a nice deep breath. Let me cue up some music. And if you want to come in the Zoom room and ask a question, great. If not, then we'll start to wrap up for the hour for Metaphysical Meetup with Marc. Again, if you want to learn more about me, marclainhart.com right here. Our latest podcast is out. So wherever you follow your podcasts, you can find Inspired Living. Just look for my ugly mug on the cover, the banner of the show. We're in our 8th season, so there's a lot of shows to pick from, a lot of different topics, a lot of different interviews, from doctors to writers to directors to professional athletes to inspirers. The latest podcast I just did was Death is Not Extinction, Death is Extension. And then we have a new podcast on the 14th. So not this Wednesday, the 7th, but the second Tuesday, right? Is that going to be the second Tuesday? I'm sorry, Wednesday. I'm looking at my calendar here. I'm all jacked up. So the second Wednesday is the 14th. So that's Valentine's Day. And then the 28th are our 2 shows this month. And we have some pretty amazing guests coming up. So I hope that you'll tune into those. We're live on Wisdom Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you don't catch the live broadcast, and again, all the global player links are here at marclainhart.com. Or you can just internet search Om Times Radio or Inspired Living, and then that'll pull up based on whatever podcast platform you go through, because we're on pretty much all of them now. And then if you don't catch the live broadcast, then we encore throughout the rest of the week, and then they'll go over a couple hours, about 48 hours after the live broadcast, they'll go to the platform Spotify, iHeart Radio, iTunes, YouTube, all of that. So this coming up is going to be, to be honest, I can't remember, but I know it's a good guess because I have the book. I read about a book a week, just so y'all know, with all the different guests that we have and the different pitches that we get to be on the show. But right top of my head, I can't remember. So good morning to Wendy. How are you, Falik? Saeed, good morning to you. If you have any questions, we've opened up the Zoom room here. If you want to come in, you just click on that link. Look for the emoji of me covering my heart. And the passcode is 2024. It should bring you right in if you have a question. Hi, Per RG. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. This morning, I was just talking about the diamonds of being alone, the art of being alone, that there's a lot of benefits that can come from being alone. And there's a lot of people that are alone in the world. So try to flip that thought process, flip script on being alone is something bad, but being alone and having solitude can actually be quite valuable and enriching experience. So I hope that helps for today. So let's move into some music and a nice breath meditation. I did realize when the music was playing last week, I do apologize when I tried to talk during the meditation. So I'm just going to challenge you just for a few minutes, just to pause, practice the pause. Hi, Karen. Practice the pause, protect your peace, move into the music with me, and just sit for a second, and then we'll come back. And if there's any questions or any Zoom room participants, then we'll go from there. So let me get over to some music here real quick. Let me share my screen. All righty. And I always like to say, be inspired, inspire others, and inspire before we expire, because we are all going to expire at some point. So carpe diem, seize the day, have an amazing soul adventure, and just focus on your breath now. Focus in on just being present here as I cue up today's song. And it's called, I believe it's called This Feeling. This is the one that I'm looking for.
So that I can do it, that I can do it, keep breathing. Hanging on this, hanging on this, hanging on this feeling. So that I can do it, that I can do it, that I can do it. You can say that it's easy. We'll say that it's easy.
Take a nice deep breath.
We'll say that it's easy. We'll say that it's easy. You can say that it's easy. Said I wanna leave to see the mountains. I said I really wanna hit the road. But no matter what I said, it's all just in my head. In reality I've yet to go. Cause I think I'll do it later. Better now to wait. But you go ahead and throw a different plan my way. Why not today? Why not today? You got your life to waste. Don't wait around for circumstance to go your way. Why not today? Why not today? Just go now, it's okay. Escape now from your cage. You've got your life to waste. Why not today? Why not today? While I'm whistling this tune, and we'll eat homemade pasta in any city we want to. Pack a bag and say, come on, let's go. Cause we could do this later, and sure it's worth the wait. But I think we have a better plan in place. Why not today? Why not today? You got your life to waste. Don't wait around for circumstance to go your way. Why not today? Why not today? Just go now, it's okay. Escape now from your cage. You've got your life to waste. Why not today? Why not today?
righty. So why not today? So the two songs featured today called This Feeling by Black Box and Why Not Today by Sleeping Lion. Just so you all know, these are pre-approved. It's part of my Meta Sound collection. So these songs that play during my shows are copyright free, trademark free, already pre-approved. And I love promoting people that are maybe not mainstream artists or not well known. But the first song was called This Feeling, and the second song are This Feeling by Black Box and Why Not Today by Sleeping Lion. And it's just like, why not today? It's such a good song. So we try to take a quick music break and just allow you to tune in to what I always like to say is the magic of the moment. Because I think that's important. And again, talking about the many diamonds of being alone, that article will be out here shortly. Again, if you want to work with me moving forward, if you have some questions, whether it's medical intuitiveness, psychic, mediumship, spirituality, wanting to develop your journey, your best starting point, your one-stop shop is going to be right here at marclainhart.com. From there, you can click on the big blue diamond if you want to become a spiritual development tribe member and visit the group. We meet on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here through the Zoom platform, and we practice different modalities, healing, psychic, mediumship, special guests, all sorts of stuff throughout the year. So if you're interested in doing that, again, best place to find and book with me is at marclainhart.com, or you can just internet search the Intuitive Prospector. I do want to let you know that I am recording a new set of spiritual tips. And if you want to get those tips, if you have an Alexa or an Echo at your house, you can now follow us through Audible. You can follow the podcast through Audible, Inspired Living Radio, and you can also follow Positive Living. So I'll be recording some new tips here this month to where you just simply say, Alexa, open up Positive Living, and you'll get tips from myself and other amazing colleagues from Ariel, my spiritual community that I'm a part of professionally. And you can also say, Alexa or Echo, play Inspired Living podcast, and that'll pull up the latest episode that I just recorded talking about death is not extinction, death is extension. So you can play the podcast through your Alexa, you can play Positive Living spiritual tips through your Alexa or Echo Pod. I had to change mine because every time I would say that, Alexa here, she's just off camera, she would come on, and then of course then I have to worry about getting muted on Facebook because she may say something. So her name now, she goes by Computer. Making sure she didn't turn on, she didn't catch it. So for those of you who follow the old Star Trek movies, there was a part where Scotty, who was the engineer on the Starship Enterprise, went back in time, and everything is voice activated. So it just tells you where we're at, right? Science fiction becoming science fact, and he's leaning into the computer, and he's like, computer, and it's not doing anything. And the guy leans into him, the guy from, this would have been in I think the 80s, maybe 90s, Star Trek 4, where they go back in time to get the whales. And the guy just leans into it and goes, just type it out. Like there was no such thing as voice activation. So that's my Alexa's name. That's her name now. So she doesn't. Yeah. Computer off. Computer off.
Developed by Amazon. First used in the Amazon Echo and the Amazon Echo Dot devices.
Computer off.
By Amazon Lab 126.
All right.
It is capable of voice interaction, music playback, making to-do lists, setting alarms.
So she's telling me what she's about. Computer off. So that's why I changed the name, because she just starts going off and starts talking about things. So hopefully that part doesn't get muted. Geez, what was I going to say? It just shows you how movies, and I've long theorized, does art imitate life, or does life imitate art, right? And so this is an example of life imitating art, because back in the 80s, when he was talking about voice activation, the guy was like, just type it in the computer. What are you talking about? Now we are here. We have voice activation, and it's going to continue with our technology. So, okay. Yeah, technology, Karen. Yeah, right. So buckle up. Lots coming down the pike here. We were in the year of truth last year, in the year of the 7 from a numerology standpoint. Now we're in the year of the 8. 2024 is the year of 8, also known as manifesting. So things are going to manifest now into our reality. The truths of our time last year, manifesting through abundance. This year, we're going to still see some wild stuff coming up this year, but I also think we're going to see some pretty eye-opening, amazing healing transformations as well. So the card that I pulled for everybody, since we don't have anybody coming into the Zoom room today, or any other questions asked, I don't see any questions come up. And if I missed your question, I do apologize because sometimes I don't see all the questions. Um, Samantha says, being single alone for going on 10 years, it is very liberating. Yeah, again, the art of being alone, the diamonds of being alone can be very, very beneficial. So yeah, I agree with you, Samantha. So if you have any questions, now's the time to ask, or the Zoom room is open. If not, I'll see all the members over in the Q&A community for Patreon, for the Diamonds Hub subscribers here on Facebook. Those links will be on the Subscribers Hub page and over on the Patreon page to access at 11:30. So here in about a half hour, and then again at 3. That is your monthly connect with me. Again, sorry, it's not for free members. If you're part of my Patreon, you're free, and you're not subscribed, then that you wouldn't be able to participate in that. But the card for today's choice, or today's message, is the right choice. And this is from a Rumi deck. If you know who Rumi is, I love Rumi. He was a 12th century mystic poet from the areas of Iraq and Iran. And he talked about a lot about the consciousness and the spiritual pathways. And he says this: the right choice. Not every eye has vision, and not every sea contains pearls. Interesting. When you are drawn away from a tantalizing sweet shop, trust that there is more delicious array of confectionery just around the corner. Yes, have your tantrum if you must, but you will be sheepish when you realize that the hand that removes is the same hand of the beloved that bestows even greater gifts. And it's about the right choice. So it's about, just because you don't get it now doesn't mean it's not going to come later. And not every eye has vision, and not every sea contains a pearl. And that is very true. And once you start to look at life with what I call the 3 eyes of life, 2 to look, 1 to see, your journey, your consciousness, your learned behaviors, your education, your relationships, your career, they all change. How do I know? Because I've done them all. I've experienced it. I'm experiencing it right now with my career. My federal career is coming to an end because I've been called to do this more. So I'm trusting and accepting and being patient with this whole process. It's not a fun process to go through, I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, it's happening for me. It's not happening to me, not to be victimized by it. So curious, have you been to Sedona? I have not. I know that Sedona is a very spiritual place. One of the earth chakras is there. I'm actually more inclined to go to Shasta, to be honest with you. Mount Shasta has been calling me. I do have some events coming up that I'm going to be participating in later this year. That's going to be over in the rainforest, over in the Olympic rainforest, also known as the Hoh rainforest, and my connection to nature's offerings, and going to be doing a couple sessions this year, both in April and September. So I'm looking forward to that. But to be honest with you, Karen, to me, Sedona is very touristy as well, right? It's kind of like when I went to Stonehenge for the first time. I was so excited back in 2009. I went to Stonehenge, and I was like, oh, this is going to be spiritual. And I actually ended up connecting more to the, is it Glastonbury connection? The hills over in, it's not Glastonbury. That's a cathedral. That's, sorry, I'm losing track, but it's not the main, because when I went to Stonehenge, it was a lot of circus. There was people doing hula hoops and bubbles and running around the stones. I was like, oh, this is not what I envisioned Stonehenge would be. And I know that it's very, from an earth standpoint, from a ley line, from a chakra standpoint of the earth, I know it's a very powerful center, but it was off that I was actually more drawn to other parts. I was actually drawn more to the Cornwall coast, to be honest with you. When we did our visit a few years later, I went to the Cornwall coast and spiritually connected more there with the oceans and the lighthouse. And, there's a lot of history from fairies and entities, forest entities, and druids and all of that kind of stuff. So I was actually more drawn to the Cornwall coast. But I imagine as my career unfolds and progresses that I will eventually end up in Sedona at some point. I've had a dream and a vision of seeing myself talking at Sedona. So I don't know if that's an event that's going to come down in my future, of being a guest speaker somewhere in Sedona. But I'm open to that, to be honest with you, Karen. But the big thing that's been calling me is the Olympic rainforest here. And the mountains that are surrounding us. The mountains are very interesting. They're very spiritual. They have a very long history of spiritual connections, including Mount Shasta, including Mount Rainier, which if you could see from my eyes looking out, I'm literally pointing at Mount Rainier. I can see it from my studio. Can't see it right now because it's cloudy, but I can look at Mount Rainier. And so these mountains, which for centuries have long held that they are actually portals, that there's a lot of everything's from extra dimensional beings, flying saucers, Bigfoots, creatures, forest entities have all been associated with mountains. But Sedona is different because Sedona is also the Red Rock, so that has a very spiritual connection as well. But yes, I imagine at some point I will be making my trek down to Sedona and Mount Shasta. So thanks for asking, Karen. Hey, Samantha Joe, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So we're gonna call it a day. I'm going to close this out with the Heart Song by Spence Quality. So again, I like to promote artists. Again, these are all pre-approved artists, so there's no copyright, no trademark infringement. So my video doesn't get muted, because when you have trademarks, they can mute your video. These have all been approved by my Meta Sound collection. So on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, all pre-approved. And I like to promote people that are part of my journey, part of my community, and part of the platform. So if there's a last call for any questions, if I did miss your question, go ahead and just put bump and then ask your question again. That means that somehow I missed your question, because we get a lot of Q&A going, and it's easily missed, especially when I'm running everything and we're doing the show. So I apologize if I didn't see your question. Just put bump, put an asterisk, or put a flower or something to get my attention. Mark, you missed my question. I'll be happy to answer that right now. And if there's no other questions, I don't have anybody in the waiting room, so we'll proceed to the Patreon prospectors and Diamond Hub subscribers Q&A community that's going to be happening here in about a half hour. Again, if you want to join these communities, you can go up to the top of the Intuitive Prospector page. There's a subscribe button, $4.99 a month. Hit that subscribe button, and then inside you'll get those links and those access points via Zoom to have the Q&A community. And then over on Patreon, once you join and you become a paid member, again, this doesn't apply for my free members, because I have a few of you that are free. These are for paid members. I'll put that link over on the members. You'd only see the link if you're a paid member, put it that way. So if you're free, you're not going to see the link. If you're paid at $2.22 all the way up to $11.11, then you will see the link as a paid member. And then at 11:30 and 3 p.m., we'll have a Q&A community. First Fridays of every month. I'll be doing that for the rest of the year, and I hope to prospect with you. I'm trying to put together a Monday session called Experience the Etheric. It's something I used to do, and I'm trying to get the times figured out for that. I'm hoping to have that launched by the end of this month or early March. That's a way to experience. It's the ABCs of spiritualism: attunement, blending and breathing, connecting, and consciousness. So the ABCs of spiritualism, and what I do, and I'm going to start teaching people how to do this, but I'm not sure how much I want to charge, and I'm not sure what time on Mondays. Probably mid-afternoon Mondays, because that would still allow my colleagues over across the pond to be able to tune in evening time. So maybe 11 a.m. or maybe even 10 a.m. That seems to be a good time that works for people on Mondays. Once I know my schedule is figured itself out, because I'm in the process of, again, my schedule is changing, but we will keep Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live here on Fridays at 10 a.m. for sure. So just get on my newsletter, or get on one of the subscriptions to keep up to date. You can follow me over on Insight Timer as well, or Learn It Live. There's some classes over there. And get on my YouTube library. I want to try to get over 500 subscribers and just continue to build and grow and connect and inspire and transform and heal and encourage and motivate, and all the things that we need in our world, because the world is a shitty place right now, and there's a lot of uncertainties. And what we can do is we can still come together in community and inspire and help each other, and strengthen numbers, right? So, and again, come back to this stuff that's not serving your higher path, let that go, and things that you want to start experiencing, to carpe diem, to just be alive. Why not today? If not now, when, right? So have a great rest of your day. Sending you lots of love, lots of healing, lots of positive motivations, lots of positive thoughts and inspirations. And we'll see you next time here next Friday for Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live. And have a fabulous rest of your day and weekend. All right. Namaste.
Maximum respect to the places that I've been, to all the people that I've met, all my family and friends. There's no telling who I'd be without them. It's is so compelling when we look through that lens. I'm not dwelling on the past, but it's where it all begins. Got my sights where we headed, but now is where we spend all the quality time to write the story how it ends. When you stop writing, that's the end. I'ma never stop learning new things, open to what life brings, hoping that I make it to the places where my heart sings. I can't fake it when I'm truly in my heart song. I can take it, but I'd rather they ain't do me wrong. They can break me, nah, I'd rather it make me strong. But if you cross me twice, I'm gone. I'ma last long till the lights come on. Make it till the sun comes up, it's a new dawn. Trying to get to where I wanna be. Watch me ride this frequency. Hey, hey, trying to get to where I wanna go. Watch me catch this flow. I need a break from Babylon, looking for Avalon. I play the beat, grab a pen, then I travel on to places I ain't been since I had my saddle on. It's time to saddle up though, once I find my flow. There's no telling where we could go, so baby let go. I got something that I wanna show, you know. If you open up your mind, you can find your road. There's many paths, many signs to the finish line. Breaking down the status quo, it's how we get refined. How we find that deeper soul, divine. How we truly become whole, combined with humanity as a whole, we one tribe. I ain't trying to disconnect, trying to live this life. I try to live it with respect for the most high and the most low, cause we gotta balance those. Trying to find a middle ground where they both go. Trying to get to where I wanna be. Watch me ride this frequency. Hey, hey, trying to get to where I wanna go. Watch me catch this flow. Trying to get to where I wanna be. Watch me ride this frequency. Hey, hey, trying to get to where I wanna go. Watch me catch this flow.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.